Imagine the world's economic map being redrawn, not by war, but by money. Picture borders shifting, not with armies, but with the flow of capital and the rise of new alliances. The rules of the game are changing, and a new player is stepping onto the field. That's what BRICS is doing, reshaping the global financial landscape with every meeting, every agreement, and every bold new idea. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Recently, the group has expanded, welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE into its ranks. This expansion signals a growing ambition and a desire to represent even more voices on the world stage. Together, these nations represent nearly half the world's population and over a third of the global economy. Their cities pulse with energy, their markets are booming, and their influence is only growing. For decades, the US dollar has dominated global trade, acting as the world's reserve currency and giving America immense power over international finance. This dominance has shaped the way countries do business, borrow money, and even resolve disputes. But BRICS nations are questioning this reliance, seeing it as a vulnerability that leaves them exposed to external pressures and decisions made far from their own borders. They're concerned about US sanctions, which can freeze assets and disrupt economies overnight, and the unpredictable nature of the dollar, which can swing wildly with political or economic shifts in the US. So, they're quietly building their own financial systems, new roads for money to travel, using digital currencies, blockchain technology, and alternative payment networks. These innovations promise greater independence and security. This isn't a sudden revolution, but a strategic evolution. Change is happening gradually, as new systems are tested, refined, and adopted. The old system still works, but BRICS is creating alternatives that could be faster, cheaper, and less controlled by any one country. These new options could transform how nations trade, invest, and save. These changes have accelerated since 2025, raising big questions about the future of money, power, and global cooperation. What are these new systems? How will they work in practice? Will they truly offer a fairer, more balanced financial world, or simply create new challenges? What do they mean for global power? Could this shift tip the balance or spark new rivalries and alliances? The BRICS initiative marks one of the biggest shifts in international finance in a generation. It's a bold experiment, watched closely by governments, banks, and businesses everywhere. It signals a move toward a more multipolar world, where economic influence is shared, and no single nation holds all the cards. Understanding this shift is crucial, because the decisions made now will shape the global economy for decades to come, affecting everything from trade to technology to everyday life. The world is watching as BRICS paves new financial highways, setting the stage for a future where the flow of money could look very different from today. To understand how BRICS is laying the foundation for a new global financial order, let's explore two of its most ambitious initiatives: Project mBridge and BRICS Pay. These projects are at the heart of BRICS's strategy to reshape international finance and reduce reliance on traditional Western systems. Project mBridge is a cutting-edge platform that allows central banks to trade directly with each other using digital versions of their own national currencies. This means no more dependence on the US dollar as an intermediary, and no more waiting for slow, costly third-party settlements. Transactions can happen in seconds, not days, and with far greater transparency. For instance, Brazil's central bank can instantly exchange digital real for digital yuan with China's central bank, streamlining trade and financial flows between the two countries. This direct connection eliminates unnecessary conversion steps and reduces transaction costs. The platform has already been successfully tested by central banks from China, Hong Kong, Thailand, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. These pilot runs have demonstrated that real-time, secure, and efficient cross-border transactions are not just possible, they're already happening. Meanwhile, BRICS Pay is designed to connect national payment systems, like India's UPI and China's Alipay, into a single interoperable network. This means people and businesses can make payments across borders using the apps they already trust, without worrying about currency barriers or complicated processes. Imagine an Indian tourist in Russia paying for goods with UPI, and the system instantly converts rupees to rubles behind the scenes. There's no need for dollars, no hidden fees, and no hassle, just a seamless, user-friendly experience. Both mBridge and BRICS Pay share a common goal: to make cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and less subject to political interference. By operating outside the Western-dominated SWIFT system, they offer an alternative that's more inclusive and less vulnerable to external pressures. By building these digital highways, BRICS is creating a parallel financial universe, one that connects its member states more closely and gives them greater autonomy in the global economy. This new system is designed to be resilient against sanctions, external shocks, and political pressure, ensuring that BRICS countries can continue trading and investing even in turbulent times. Ultimately, it's about giving BRICS member states more control over their economic destinies, empowering them to shape the future of global finance on their own terms. There's a persistent rumor circulating in financial circles and across global media. Many believe that BRICS is on the verge of launching a new unified currency designed to directly challenge the dominance of the US dollar. But if you listen closely to what officials are actually saying, their priority is not to create a single currency overnight. Instead, their real focus is on building robust, resilient payment infrastructure that can support future ambitions. Think of it like constructing a skyscraper. Before you can reach for the sky, you need a rock-solid foundation. That's where systems like mBridge and BRICS Pay come in. These are the digital rails and blueprints for tomorrow's financial world. Creating a shared currency would require deep political trust, economic alignment, and a level of integration that BRICS simply doesn't have yet. It's a complex puzzle, and the pieces aren't all in place. The real motivation behind these efforts is de-risking, reducing exposure to US sanctions and the vulnerabilities that come with dollar dominance. For many BRICS nations, this is about protecting their economies from external shocks. By building alternative payment channels and networks, BRICS is essentially creating an economic insurance policy, one that gives them more control over their own financial destinies. The immediate focus is on enabling trade in their own currencies, like the yuan, ruble, rupee, and riel, so they can gradually reduce their reliance on the dollar for cross-border transactions. This methodical, step-by-step approach may not grab headlines like a dramatic currency launch, but it's far more strategic and sustainable in the long run. Ultimately, it's about shifting the global balance of power, providing a credible, practical alternative to the dollar-centric system that has dominated for decades. The long game for BRICS is about building true financial independence, step by step, not chasing instant revolution, but laying the groundwork for lasting change. While a common BRICS currency isn't imminent, the idea lingers for the future. Experts imagine it as a digital reserve asset for settling big trades, not for everyday use. One proposal, back it with a basket of assets, maybe 40% gold, 60% member currencies, anchoring its value in something tangible. BRICS could also include commodities like oil and minerals, tying the currency to real economic resources. Blockchain would likely underpin the system, ensuring transparency and security. These are just ideas, no official blueprint exists yet. The technical and political challenges are huge, agreeing on what backs the currency, how it's managed, and who governs it. For now, these concepts show BRICS' long-term vision, a financial future defined by real assets, not just central bank policy. It's a glimpse of a more stable, diversified global system. At the heart of BRICS' project is economic sovereignty, the freedom to make decisions without outside interference. The US dollar's dominance means other nations' economies are tied to US policy. When the Fed acts, emerging markets can suffer instability. BRICS wants to insulate itself from these shocks by building its own payment systems. The goal isn't to destroy the dollar, but to reduce dependence on it. They envision a world where the dollar is just one of several major currencies. This multipolar approach creates more options and reduces risk. By strengthening internal trade and building a self-sufficient ecosystem, BRICS boosts its bargaining power. It's a strategic move to reshape their economic future from within. A BRICS alternative financial system could reshape global trade and the dollar's dominance. If BRICS shifts a significant share of its trade into its own currencies, global demand for dollars will gradually decline. This won't happen overnight, but it will diversify the financial landscape. For BRICS countries, trading becomes simpler and cheaper. No more constant currency conversions. New trade patterns could emerge, shifting economic gravity toward the East and global South. The system would also weaken the impact of Western sanctions, forcing new approaches to global diplomacy. Still, the dollar's position is deeply entrenched, and change will be slow. The likely outcome is a gradual rebalancing, not a sudden upheaval. The BRICS initiative signals that the foundations of global finance are shifting. Building a new financial system is a marathon, not a sprint. BRICS is rolling out its projects in phases, no single launch date. Analysts expect BRICS Pay and expanded mBridge to go mainstream between 2026 and 2027. Feasibility studies and pilot programs are already underway. The next steps: onboarding more banks, scaling up, and setting legal frameworks. Early public tests will start with specific trade corridors, then expand. By 2027, more countries may join, further reducing reliance on the dollar. The process is iterative, but the direction is clear. BRICS is methodically building its new financial house. The BRICS vision faces major challenges. The bloc is diverse, different continents, economies, and political systems. China's economic size creates imbalances and concerns among smaller members. Harmonizing financial regulations and technology across so many countries is a monumental task. Each nation has its own payment systems and priorities, making integration complex. Internal competition and differing interests could slow progress. External pressure from established financial powers will be intense. The new platforms must prove they're secure and reliable to win global trust. Overcoming decades of dollar-based inertia is a huge hurdle. Success depends on navigating these internal and external obstacles. As of July 29, 2025, the BRICS financial project is about ambition, not aggression. It's not a war on the dollar, but a push for independence and resilience. By building new payment highways, BRICS isn't demolishing the old system, just offering more choice. The focus is on infrastructure, not a gold-backed currency, at least for now. This quiet revolution is happening in the back-end systems of central banks, not in headlines. If successful, BRICS could rebalance global finance and reduce the power of sanctions. The path is challenging, but the project is already changing the conversation. It's about creating options and decentralizing control. Whether it fully succeeds or not, BRICS has forced the world to imagine a more diverse financial future. The journey has just begun, but the world is watching as new financial paths are built for generations to come.